Hi, my name is Katie Weatherup and I'm a shamanic practitioner, and for my next 7 journeys in 7 days offering, I want to do something on power, inspiration, and choice. And I think these are all interconnected and super yummy. So one of the things that happens to a lot of us is we end up really disconnected from our personal power. There are a lot of layers and levels to this. We could talk about past lives where structures gave people less personal power, or we could talk about childhood where we got sort of conditioned into needing to work around, path of least resistance to get the most needs met, or there were consequences if we really had our voice. Or we could just talk about sort of the general society that doesn't necessarily have a lot of here's how you activate your personal power. And we have a lot of power over, under, and power struggles, but we don't necessarily have a lot of modeling of power with. Shared power, empowerment, all parties co-creating a win-win. For one thing, in our media, it doesn't create very good drama. There's a lot of the narrative wheels that turn based on power struggles and conflicts, and the victim, persecutor, rescuer triangle. These are some major narratives in our culture, and there's a lot that we maybe leave on the table as far as our personal power just because we haven't had it modeled and the possibility didn't occur to us. And the second part is inspiration. And of course, I do this really cool thing where I listen to a drum and I go into an altered state and I talk to my guides and they tell me stuff and I get to deliver messages, and I love that. At the same time, I think we're all much more connected than we know we are. We just don't necessarily know how to get quiet enough to hear the voice of inspiration and intuition. So the second part is just really connecting you with all the cosmic wisdom, all the guides that are available to you, and facilitating the opening of some of those pathways so that you can ask these really cool questions like, how could I increase my satisfaction in right livelihood? Or, what are options that I haven't thought of for coming to different possibilities with this relationship or this circumstance? Or, how could I, go to Europe in 2019? Like, whatever it is, just being with these questions and in the inquiry and saying, I really want to hear, how can I do, what piece of action could I take that will, have me on this amazing trip that I've always wanted to take, or whatever it is in your life. So the inspiration, and then connected but somewhat different from these is the idea of choice. And choice is so important because, again, we sort of have this value in our culture of stick-it-with-itness, you made that choice, you need to live with it. And it makes people kind of afraid to choose. Like if you make a choice and you get it wrong, there are a couple of things. Like if you have to stick with it forever, there's a lot of investment in getting it right. And also, our instincts, where a lot of choices that primitive hunter-gatherer people made were really life and death. There's a lot of emphasis on your very survival depends on choosing correctly. And in the modern world, we have this blessed space to be able to have research and development, to try something on, to learn a bunch, to make more discerning decisions the next time. We don't have this emphasis on getting it right. We can step into a romantic exploration with someone and find they're not a good match. And if we have good skills to help our heart recover and come back to center, and we're not afraid of our emotionality, so we could be sad that it didn't work out, but then we could come back to center, it's not such a big deal. We don't have to spend so much time I don't know if I want to get my heart involved in that. We can feel more free to have experiences. So we don't have to be as conservative about using our power of choice, and we're more accessible to choosing again when something doesn't work. And with the first two, having our power and having the inspiration, we're pulling in the ability to perceive a lot more possibilities to choose from. And so this journey, a lot of the journeys that I do are sort of about repair that happens inside the energetic bubble. And there'll certainly be some of that. There'll certainly be some clearing out of old patterning and retrieving for you this quality of power, however you define that. But there's a lot of this journey that's about really upgrading your interface to the world. So you have your organizing principle of your energy, and then there's this interface that happens with the rest of the world, and people who can kind of shake the outcome they want out of the world. It doesn't mean like absolute magical thinking where you know, imagine a unicorn and one trots up on your doorstep. I mean, sometimes, you know, there's a version of that, but it's more the ability to see all the possibilities and options and leverage your energy effectively toward the outcome that you want. So your sort of masculine, active, yang, doing goals are being used in a very efficient way that are also paired with the feminine desire, intention, magnetizing things in, and you have those magics working together. So you see possibilities, and you have a lot more options. And if you're really stuck in a place where your interaction with an aspect of the world, whether it's money or relationships or job opportunities or, you know, whatever might be stuck, this is a really good possibility for giving you the ability to get unstuck in this sort of like, I only have these two not very good options, you know, the ultimatum thinking, the this or that, only two options. They call it a false dichotomy, where there are only two possibilities when really there are many, many more. And that's a very instinctual thing, because the instincts, when they're activated and you're trying to choose what to do about the poisonous snake, whether you climb the tree, whether you freeze, whether you try to chop its head off, like you're needing to make a really fast decision, and having like 100 options to choose from, even if they really are there, isn't useful. The brain just sorts lickety-split fast, and you know, you're in motion, you know, before you've even really necessarily thought it through, which is great if you're living outdoors where you could encounter a poisonous snake at any moment. But for the modern era, that the more sophisticated problems that we're solving, the more complex interrelational things that aren't just about survival but are about quality of life, we really want to activate this wider scope.